X in my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A spell that attracts all who spit facts online all the time.
Can you see it? All the ones who drag my name every single day. Can you see it? Can you see it? Can you see it? They keep saying you don't have what it takes to carve out your own name underneath the shadows of gods. And I keep waiting for the day disbelievers say I flew way too close to the sun. I wait, but it never really comes. The X in my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A spell that attracts all who spit facts online all the time. The X in my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A force that compels all to rebel from all right shackled minds. Why do they just stand there against when they fall from the battles I have overcome? We feel it, feel the cope and the seething tone that they make while I stand up, man among gods. And I keep vaping with my mills, shooting ropes in my cold that faces towards the sun. They hate, but I'm sitting comfy with their mom. The X in my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A spell that attracts all who speak facts online all the time. The X in my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A force that compels all to rebel from all that shackled mind. The X in my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A spell that attracts all who spit facts online all the time. The X in my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A force that compels all to rebel from all right shackled minds. It's you and me, your mom, it's me. I'll take another hit from my name. You'll see now, watch me not now, punch your face now. Let me show you how.
What a banger. It's just, it never gets old, does it? It really doesn't. And it never will. It's never gonna get old. Good afternoon, everybody. It's so good to see all of you. Welcome back to yet another stream. I hope you're all having a good day so far. I certainly have had a good one. Honestly, can't complain. Today's been pretty nice. Watched a little bit of Attack on Titan with my mom because she's going to be finishing up her visit in the next couple days. So we're trying to squeeze in as much of Season 4 in there as we can. So pretty fun. And we still got at least one more trip to the shooting range we're going to do while she's here. So that'll be pretty fun. And we're going to check out some tide pools. I've always loved tide pool ecosystems. They're like my favorite. You get the little anemones and all the starfish and sea urchins and different like crustaceans and shit mixed around the seaweed. I love tide pools. You want to go to them at low tide for the most wildlife. Sometimes you'll see like octopuses and stuff. So me and my mom are going to take a little bit of a tide pool trip up the coast tomorrow, probably, because that, you know, I'm not streaming tomorrow. I streamed yesterday, I'm streaming today, so tomorrow I have off, and then I stream the next 2 days. Tide pools over tide pods any day. Exactly, yes. Very much so. God damn, we just started stream and already 225 people are here. I really do appreciate you all coming out so quickly today. Well, if you're enjoying the stream so far, consider dropping a like. It really does help out a lot. That thumbs up really just goes a long way. It forces YouTube to push my content to more people, even my own subscribers. It makes the viewer count go up, so I appreciate each and every single one of you who drops that like. Yeah, I got a fun stream planned for you guys today. Oh, yes. Yes, I do. All right. Here's the question. Do we stun lock with something unrelated to politics for a little while I wait for people to, like, arrive for the next 10 to 15 minutes? Or do we hop right into segments? It feels so wrong to just immediately do segments as soon as I start stream. Like, there's nothing stopping me, and it'd get stream done sooner. But then I'd be live for a shorter amount of time. Actually, you know what we should stun lock with? I know I'll lose viewers, but it's fine. I don't care. The politics will happen. I just like to wait for people to arrive and give you guys something to do and enjoy while we wait. So let's check out some Washington State tide pools. Big pool seal. Holy shit. Olympic National Park. Okay, both of these look dope. Let's start with the top one. Yeah, it doesn't look too far off from what I saw at the tide pools the other day. Me and my mom took a trip to San Juan Island. And we did some island exploration. We did some exploration of the coast. And there were a lot of anemones like this in the tide pools, but we were at, like, medium tide. We didn't see any starfish, but we saw a lot. I mean, literally hundreds of anemones. It was crazy. They, like, suck themselves up and cram themselves up into the rocks like this. You just see this, and you don't even realize, holy shit, wait, these are all fucking anemones. Oh my god. Well, these are, like, barnacles and scallops and oysters and shit. But this is, like, all anemones. This is all underwater during high tide. It's crazy. Yeah, and the ones that are underwater, they've got their tendrils out. This is a dope thing to take your kids to do. Gonna be honest, Zan, as much as I love your live streams, paying every damn streamer $5 a month just to watch VODs isn't financially viable for me. I don't think I'm gonna do the, like, VOD lockdown thing. I think instead I want to just give you guys additional content that's optional on like Patreon and stuff, you know? Maybe occasionally do some members only streams. Something like that.
Sydney, really scared, like they're not even scared. They're just the path is like yeah.
Let's get to the footage of the tide pools. I'm more concerned.
Oh my gosh.
Look at the tree growing on a tree. That was pretty cool. The roots consuming it. Yo, okay, this is where I want to go. Olympic National Park. This is the place to go. God damn. Oh, the pink anemones. Once you get, like, close enough to the water, at low tide, like, the further down you get towards the water, like, the lower the tide gets, the more... That is so fucking cool. This is Subnautica shit. Dude, okay, chat. I so badly want to get a mask and snorkel and some fins and just swim in the kelp forest off the coast a little bit. I think I could make it 5 minutes before my lips turn blue and I have to get out. But it'd be long enough to hold a GoPro, like, to put on a GoPro. Wear a wetsuit. Is it necessary if I get out of the water fast enough? Because, like, I'm telling you, the kelp is literally, like, 5 feet from the shore. Like, You get past the rocks and it's right there. It's kind of deep, you know? Like, that's a little bit of a freaky aspect of it, but, you know, jellies? You're right. I saw so many fucking jellyfish. That I'd be a little concerned about, but, I mean, the bad ones are pretty visible. Like, I noticed the bad ones from a distance. I have thalassophobia, and any of this would make me uncomfortable, but if that thing touches my leg, I'm going to shut down. Even above land, this gives you thalassophobia? God, look at those rocks. Reminds me of Florida limestone.
Oh my gosh.
I know you're a swimmer, but don't unalive yourself. I don't think 5 minutes in the water would hurt without a wetsuit on. Like, people literally swim in Lake Washington and at the beach without it. Oh, that one's really pretty. Like, I don't have an aquarium at home or anything, but if I did, I would have to fight some serious urges not to just, like, yoink some free sea life to take home. Because, oh my god, it's all so colorful and beautiful. By the way, people keep saying, like, doomering and saying it's over, it's over, it's over. Okay, chat, I need to know what that is. Chat, I kept seeing these things at the beach. What are these? But as I was saying, while you guys find out what that is, they're chitin. Okay. I heard my mom from across the room and Fish Sneeze got it. They're called chitins, I see. So, basically, like, this is very vibrant and beautiful. I mean, this is its own sort of coral reef habitat, just different from what you think of because it's not in a tropical environment. You know, there's still very much left in the oceans worth fighting to conserve, you know?
Oh, this is beautiful. Ooh, it smells lovely too. Just like the sea, fresh sea.
Look at all, these are all anemones. They're just all different size, different aged anemones. All different species and stuff. Like, you got the pink ones, the red ones, the green ones.
Oh, this is incredible.
It's a chiton? Okay.
It's okay. They go back out to sea, honey. In a little while, this will be all covered up.
The kids don't understand. We gotta get the anemones into the water. They're dying. This is dope as fuck. Chat, all I have is like a busted ass cracked phone. I want so badly to do some vlogging stuff, but I just don't have the hardware yet.
Cindy, what do you think?
I want to buy like, I'm willing to invest a decent amount of money in like like I'm talking over $1,000 total into like a capture card and really nice proper DSLR camera that can do filming and photography. Mostly filming and live stream. Yeah. Pretty expensive. Oh my god! Look at this nutsack anemone. Look at these nutsacks, guys. It's like an elephant dick.
See on the ground there, he's not.
Sea dicks. Zan, how do you know what elephant dicks look like? I've been to the zoo a lot as a kid.
Just incredible.
Elephants step on their own dicks. It's crazy.
Amazing.
It's on accident. And they don't mean it. If you don't believe me, don't you? That's rhinos? No, I think elephants do it too. But yeah, rhinos also step on their own dicks, and it causes great discomfort to them. But it's very funny if you see a video of it. Like, to be real, it's kind of funny. BRB gotta go for now. I'm sorry, Cryptid T. Was I getting too real? All right. That was our stun lock. That was our pre-topics stun lock while everybody arrives. Hey, a pillow. I have that problem too, Xander Hall. Many such cases. All right. Ye all know what to do when I say action, right? 3, 2, 1, action. Alright, everybody. I've got a rant again, okay? Because a couple days ago, maybe it was even yesterday actually, I did a segment about some drama that's going around right now involving Hassan and XQC, most notably. But it sort of spreads out to the broader live streamer space, both on YouTube and on Twitch when you really think about it. And it's the topic of live reaction content. You see, when I do a live reaction to a video that I don't intend to meticulously take apart piece by piece for criticism, which in itself is fair use, so I don't really worry about it there with my, critical responses. But when it comes to my reactions, when I'm watching something that's educational, or that I don't disagree with, or that I'm meant to admire, I do my best to pause the video at any moment that I have a single thought I could give on it, and allow my brain to essentially talk about everything in relation, every little bit of detail that I could want to give about the video, because I feel as though if I'm going to react to a video, I need to, one, significantly add a lot of time onto that reaction. If the video's 30 minutes, I want to make it like an hour plus long, right? And I want that to be meaningful commentary, right? And I think I'm pretty good at coming up with things to say about stuff that I watch. Like, I literally will talk to myself about stuff that I watch in my own, free time when I'm sitting alone in my house, right? Because I've gotten so used to voicing those thoughts out loud because I'm on stream. And I noticed that there's this contingent of even very popular streamers who do this reaction content, the live reaction content format, and they just end up content stealing. Like, they'll get up and walk away like Hassan and XQC do for moments at a time, come back and ask what they missed while someone else with a much smaller platform's video is just playing on screen. And oftentimes that will get uploaded in some form as its own video on YouTube, which in many cases will direct more people to that channel. There have definitely been cases and strong arguments for even the most lychee reaction content in the end having a positive outcome for the content creators whose content has been stolen. But I still don't like the content stealing form of live reaction content. It's really not something I'm a big fan of, because I feel as though I don't fall into that stereotype, but the more people who keep on defending, standing by, and getting, a lot of shit for doing this, the more that all forms of live reaction content become badly stigmatized. For example, how many of you are familiar with Dark Viper AU? There's a lot of things I like about the guy. He does good GTA videos, for example, but he has a serious, schizo hate boner for all forms of reaction content. Something that he's said and made very clear in the past is that he believes the concept of a live first-time reaction to something can never be fair use. The only form of reaction content, in his opinion, and nowadays a lot of YouTubers' opinions, is pre-watched review content that at most takes very small clips and cuts and uses editing and pre-scripted wording. Basically they say if you don't put literally dozens of hours into your video, then it's not a fair use reaction video. And what becomes very clear is that there's an obvious level of jealousy where content creators who've built their audience on very high production value, very high effort, very high editing videos, feel upset that they have as much or less success than a content creator who just gets to stream, send, clips to their editor, and then send those up on YouTube. Weirdly arbitrary standard? It's really weird, yeah. There are a lot of people out there that literally have a very irrational hate boner out there for any form of live reaction content, no matter how transformative it is. So, in regards to that, I'm very upset that those people keep getting ammo due to the actions of people like Hassan and XQC. I disagree with him. Some reactors are beyond lazy, though. That's what we're getting into now, Trout440. So XQC is one of the biggest streamers in all of Twitch, and now Kick, the gambling site / live streaming site where all of the most shameless, very obviously grifting money grubber streamers just kind of sold out and joined so they could say slurs and gamble. Yeah, so basically XQC is like one of the biggest content creators and all of that, and he's been known for doing reaction videos. Now, I discovered XQC because of his reactions, reacting to notably Daily Dose of Internet. I should mention, by the way, Daily Dose of Internet has said he does not mind people reacting to his videos on stream and uploading them on YouTube. He has no issue with it, so I'm glad to hear that. I mean, I understand the animosity towards React content when you look at the liberties people like XQC and Hassan take with their lazy and shameless React content. Yeah, and that's my problem, right? Like, people who do transformative live React content should actively, like what I'm doing now, be speaking out against this shit, people like what Hassan and XQC are doing, because they're basically helping to push people towards a position in which they regard all forms of live reaction content as being non-transformative and deserving of being, you know, TOS'd or whatever. I don't know how anyone tolerates XQC, TBH. He's a bit much. Yeah, he's definitely got an audience on the younger side. Oh, here's a good idea of, like, what kind of audience he has. If you go to his official YouTube channel, he uploaded a reaction video 4 hours ago. And it's XQC reacting to men who were ruined after dating a Kardashian. So you can imagine, like, the general vibe of his community these days. Not very high IQ, if I'm being honest. Not very big-brained. Not very logical, the arguments they'll make to defend their boy. Hey, Bal. Now, XQC got called out by a viral tweet the other day that got, like, 80 or 90,000 fucking likes, calling out Hassan and XQC for the fact that in their reaction to a recent video by Lemino about the JFK assassination, XQC and Hassan both just get up, walk away, and then come back after several moments and ask what I miss. And then uploaded that on YouTube. It's not good. It really, really isn't. I do believe all these channels do at least a fairly decent job of sending people towards the original content, at least when in regards to links and all that good stuff, but oh my god, just sitting there and eating or saying, whenever you do, like, a reaction is just so lazy and pathetic. Like, I don't know if you guys were here last night, during my, my stream where I, like, reacted to Big Joel's recent video about the Minneapolis Police Department, but that video was 32 minutes long. My reaction to it came out to 1 hour and 34 minutes long. I feel like there's a big difference between that and what XQC and Hassan do. And I know many other streamers who do live reactions like what I do, and they get the shit end of the stick as well. You'll remember, actually, recently, we covered CGP Grey, very popular YouTuber, by the way. Let's bring up his channel. I am officially a CGP Grey hater, for those of you guys that don't know. So CGP Grey, really popular channel, right? Big channel, really big, really popular, huge channel. Lots of people sub to him. Every video goes viral. Lots of views. A lot of people react to his stuff as well. There was a channel called Vlogging Through History, which recently did a couple reaction videos to some old, I would argue, algorithmically outdated CGP Grey videos. One about flags, I believe. He's done a lot about flags, one of the older ones. And some other ones that were history related, right? These were older videos. These were effectively not actively being pushed by YouTube in the algorithm anymore. Something you must remember, by the way, is that once a video reaches a certain age or has been buried under enough more recent videos, it effectively has become archived content as far as the algorithm is concerned. You're going to have a trickle of maybe like 2 viewers a month watch the video. So at that point, like, if you're mad about someone reacting to a video you uploaded 5 years ago, that just seems like you're being douchey for no reason. But but let me get to the actual topic at hand. CGP Grey issued a false strike copyright takedown on Vlogging Through History's channel for one of his reaction videos. The reaction video itself was pretty damn transformative, too. I ended up watching it after this all got resolved. But, obviously, Vlogging Through History was like, yo, what the fuck? What happened? What's going on? And so he reached out to CGP Grey, sent him a message, and asked if he could, like, you know, rescind the strike. And he also sent a appeal for the copyright strike that CGP Grey manually submitted on this guy's channel. Much smaller channel than CGP Grey's. CGP Grey has 6 million subs. So, Vlogging Through History in response gets no message back, but instead receives another copyright strike on his channel manually submitted by CGP Grey, making it 2 out of 3 strikes till this guy's channel would be completely deleted. Now, at this point, Vlogging Through History is, like, making a fuss on Twitter and uploading videos, and pretty much everybody in the educational, like, content community that CGP Grey also inhabits was essentially forced to pick a side, right? The vast majority of them sided with Vlogging Through History against CGP Grey, because Vlogging Through History's videos were so obviously fair use, and this was clearly CGP Grey abusing the copyright system on YouTube to try to assassinate a YouTube channel that was doing reactions to his content. Come to later find out, CGP Grey is a big agreeer with Dark Viper AU, who believes that any form of live reaction content not scripted and edited, if it was a first-time reaction, should be allowed on YouTube. So this is literally CGP Grey saying, no, you're not allowed to react to my videos this way, even if it's legal. I don't consider it okay, so I'm going to abuse the copyright system to try to get your channel deleted. And you tried to appeal the strike, so I'm going to follow that up with a retaliatory additional strike, giving you one last chance. He beefed with Mudo a while ago, and he was clearly in the wrong. Dark Viper AU. Yeah, I'm talking about CGP Grey and Vlogging Through History. So, Law, what are you, a fucking liberal? Yeah, so basically, CGP Grey goes on Twitter, and he goes on to defend his, you know, position on this and everything. And something you might have noticed is he uploaded a video a few months ago called An Experiment with YouTube Comments. So if you go into the comments of any of his videos now, you have to be a member now in order to comment on his videos at all. He's also locked down his subreddit to only paying supporters as well. I'll basically cut to the chase and say he is pay-locked, all, including his Discord, all forms of discussion around his content, and now he's false striking with copyright, with the copyright system, channels that react to his content and have discussions around his content. He's essentially trying to own his content and any discussion around it in a way that isn't even legal. Unfortunately, this opinion is not entirely uncommon within the video essayist sphere. I really like him. I think he's really cool, and he was very polite to me and did nothing of the sort to me, but Know Nothing, you know, is on CGP Grey's side in this and reached out to me and asked that I take down my video reacting to his video on neo-slavery. I think I'd, like, doubled his video in my reaction. Or Knowing Better? Knowing Better. Yeah, sorry. Did I not say Knowing Better? I don't know. I mix up these names a lot. There are a lot of usernames on the internet, and they're all, I said Know Nothing. I'm so sorry. I'm so, guys, I'm high, and also there's a lot of usernames, okay? Anyway, Knowing Better reached out to me on Twitter and asked that I take down the video reacting to his, and it was like, I agreed to, but it was also like, dude, you could also claim revenue. That's the thing that a lot of people don't actually keep in mind about this, is that YouTube has a third option besides ignoring a video reacting to your content or issuing a takedown or a strike. There's a third option: revenue claim. if you claim the revenue on a video that contains your copyrighted material, a YouTube bot scans the video for every bit of time that plays your video, your copyrighted content, your IP, and then takes that percentage of the video and pays you that much in the ad revenue of the video. So the parts of the video that are the original content of the streamer, the streamer gets paid for that, but the person who made the original video gets paid for the other if they just claim it. But these YouTubers aren't claiming it. They're not doing it for money. They would make more money if they were claiming reactions to them. They're issuing strikes to shut down reaction channels. I think they know it's not beneficial to them in any way, and they're doing this out of principle. A twisted, weird, I would almost say cruel principle, but like just a straight up outright hatred of the concept of any form of live reaction, regardless of its transformativeness, or however you want to refer to it. Regardless, let's get into XQC. He has had a little bit of a breakdown, for lack of a better term. He's been doubling down on all of this and refuses to amend the shit that he's been rightfully called out for. So he's kind of just acting like a little crybaby bitch. Boblack's made a video about this. Came out just a few... Actually, this is a little bit outdated, honestly. Maybe we don't want to watch the Boblack's video. Maybe instead... Here, how about this? I'll bring up the screenshots from Reddit. Reddit. The XQC subreddit has been ablaze with this shit today. There's been lots of discourse. Alright, here's the subreddit. Here we go. For those that don't know, this is how I have to be able to see tweets because I'm rate limited on Twitter because my ban. But, this is captioned, Lil Bro in his anime villain arc. Should I do my best XQC impression here? Some of the people going after me for the smallest things think they can get away with it because I'm under fire at every angle. Just remind yourself that you tried it. When it's your turn to face the music. This is French Canadian. I know, I'm trying my best to Italian. I don't, you have to talk faster. I'm definitely back. It hasn't given me any peace. I don't know, I can't do it. I legit cannot imitate his, like, brain-damaged ass accent. Listen, I have no love for French Canadians. I'm sorry. You can't combine French and Canada and expect me to, like, have an open mind, alright? I'm too goddamn American. You've got a lot of people on, XQC's subreddit making what I think is probably the only decent argument in favor of, like, even the most egregious forms of reaction content. And that's when you look at certain large YouTubers who you know for a fact care about reaching the widest audience as possible and getting as many views and subs as possible, such as Mr. Beast and Daily Dose of Internet. Both have made statements in the past, as we can see here. Attention streamer people. I have no problem if you want to show my YouTube videos on your stream. You don't need to ask for my permission. I personally haven't noticed any positive or negative impact on my channel from streamers. Mr. Beast goes on to say, same, I don't care, stream away. Now this was from a while ago, but Mr. Beast has also gone on to say that after review, and reminder, Mr. Beast has, like, he's the head of a company. He's got, like, an entire sector of a company, dozens of people analyzing the YouTube algorithm and what will most likely go viral, what's the best for the channel. And he has long since determined that even people straight up re-uploading his content is good for his brand, especially if you go about it the right way. It actually inspired Mr. Beast, the fact that his videos were being re-uploaded in Hindi and in Russian and whatnot, that he started making alt channels in which he would pay professional translators to dub over his videos in different languages. And he's got an entire like a dozen plus channels that are literally all just in different languages that are re-uploads of all of his videos, just dubbed in those languages so they can go viral and be big on that country's YouTube. It's pretty interesting. The guy knows what the fuck he's talking about, so there's definitely validity to exposure on YouTube is good. It is good. Obviously, being paid in exposure is not good, which is why the content, revenue claim system works. Like, they could just claim revenue. But it seems more like this is generally being taught. Here's my general point. As much as I find this shit deplorable, the content stealing, XQCs doubling down and all that, the people who are making a big moral panic about it are almost worse. Because the people who are having their content stolen can content ID claim, which gives them money for those videos' views. They have at least a chance of getting their videos in front of an audience that otherwise would not see their videos, and thus gaining an audience through an additional means other than the organic YouTube algorithm. There are a lot of benefits that have been provably true about reaction content. I think that's definitely, fair to say. However, I don't think that makes this weird content leech theft shit valid. Back when I was a little bit more forgiving of the more leechy reaction content, I had a not so great take about a great video that was released, I think it was a year or two ago. JXC made a fantastic video on Hassan. My take was pretty good. I called Hassan a Weasley little liar. For those that don't remember, JXC called out Hassan for this very same behavior a couple years ago, or a year ago I should say, and Hassan's reaction was to essentially slander JXC as like a Nazi. And listen, JXC has some very questionable friends, that's definitely not a lie, but JXC is not a Nazi. They're a gay little gamer. Pretty far from Nazi. I've spoken to JXC quite a bit. I think that, you know how I knew JXC was a lefty? Years before I even talked to them? It was because they had that one screenshot from the finale of Adventure Time, where they were finally able to full-on confirm PB and Marceline are lesbians, where they're sitting on that, chair together, leaning into each other. As their, not their profile picture, as their, screensaver in the background of the videos for a while, back in 2018 or whatever. And I was like, progressive. I know this person's not a chud. That would not be their screensaver if they were a chud. Anyway, JXC called this out very well a while ago. In fact, we're going to react very briefly, not to anywhere near all of the video, because it's an hour long. We're going to react to the video JXC made against reaction content, but don't worry, I do the good reaction.
In November of 20...
One moment. I do the good kind of reaction where we transform the content. But Hassan's audience, seriously dislike and hate brigade bombed this video to, no end. You had, the Hassan orbiters all also jumping on to, defend Hassan and everything. I remember Denims and JXC got into a heated debate at one point and several back and forth videos in regards to this, and me and Denims were friends at the time, so I didn't say it, but she was just outright lying to defend Hassan. So it was a whole thing, and JXC went through a lot of shit for calling this out, and frankly I hate that because Jay's take on this, Jay's opinion on reaction content insofar is the most reasonable there is. Jay's problem isn't with the concept of any kind of live reaction content existing. Jay just wants it to be transformative. Hey, pause it every once in a while, give some commentary, say something more than, whoa, that's crazy. Let me demonstrate it really quick by watching that very video.
2020, I posted a 14-minute YouTube...
Yeah, overall, that's a pretty good recommended, although that's pretty cringe. That's also pretty cringe, but you guys can't see that.
video in which I roast a weird house. It was, when I first released it, one of my worst performing videos for quite a while. It seemed like it was just gonna end up being one of those videos that didn't get seen by that many people, and that's absolutely fine, you know? That is, until completely out of the blue, it was given a huge amount of extra exposure by an absolute legend. I'd never met this person, in fact, I didn't even know they existed before this, but the boost that they gave me almost doubled the video's view count in just a few days. And for that, I would genuinely like to thank the Reddit user who posted my video to r/videos. You did me an absolute solid. This kind of thing is genuinely really helpful.
Anyway, today we're talking about reaction content. Chances are you
That's a very good intro. Now, JXE's issue, as I mentioned before, with reaction content is not it existing, like many other people, such as Dark Viper AU and CGP Grey and whatnot. JXE's problem is with people like Hassan and XQC, who are very, very evidently and inarguably just engaging in content theft. The lack of commentary that they offer on their videos is outright embarrassing. I genuinely tried to watch a couple of Hassan reaction videos where he's just reacting to videos, and his commentary is so shallow. Like, it feels like I'm listening to a frat bro commentate on like the news. And it feels like it's just not my thing, okay? Regardless, though, XQC, his commentary essentially just ends at, oh, that's crazy, what? Oh my god. Like, at best, like, XQC will get loud. That's the most entertaining and transformative the content XQC will put out insofar as his reactions will get. He'll get loud. I have never seen XQC have, like, an insightful take that he just thought of while he was reacting to a video and just go on a long diatribe about something. It's always just some offhanded comment, you know? I don't know.
Probably know plenty of creators who react and respond to the work of other creators. And hell, that's something I do plenty. For anyone who doesn't know, I actually started out as a response YouTuber. Be it in a stream or in a fully edited video, I've reacted and responded to a lot of other people's videos in my time. Here's a clip from one of those videos so you can see the kind of thing I do. Dip your balls in Tabasco sauce. Now, when I cover other people's work like this, there are a few kinds of...
If you dip your balls in Tabasco sauce, then, it'll actually, like, give you, it'll give you the ability to shoot fire out of your dick. You guys know that, right? You get dick fire. It's a very effective survival strat. You know, if you have some Tabasco sauce on hand, like crashed in a desert island, and you need to start a fire for survival, you can just pour the Tabasco sauce in your balls, and then you'll just shoot a flamethrower out of your dick. Zan, that's gonorrhea? Same thing. There's gonorrhea in Tabasco sauce. It's the special ingredient.
Etiquette that I feel it's important to stick to. Basically, don't take the piss. In a reaction video, the reactor should still be adding stuff and creating content of their own, otherwise what's the point of watching their reaction over the original?
This really does take me back to 2016. I don't know if you guys were super into YouTube back then, but Jinx was one of the largest YouTubers in the platform, like, as far as his growth. He was one of the fastest growing, and his content was just absolutely abysmal. Like, he really would just stare at the screen, at the camera, while a video played for several moments at a time. I don't know how it got so many views. I think people would just click on the videos, forget they're watching a reaction video, and then just stare at the video in the bottom left. That's why it was so large. And I think he knew that. And he would just farm so much money, so much fucking money off of these videos back in 2016 and 2017. Do you remember Reactor, the guy who parodied other reaction channels and got into it with Grade A? Yeah, I think I remember that. That's like old fucking 2016 drama. God, you're making me time travel. No! That guy's Tim Pool. He's Tim Pool's brother? What? What are you talking about? Unironically? Who? The reactor person is Tim Pool's brother. That's crazy, dude. That is actually... That is... We live in a astonishingly small internet. Maybe the dead internet theory is true.
original video. The content that the reactor creates should be at least different enough from the original work that they have created something of their own. For example, take a look at this video from Soot House.
This is 10 uplifting stories. The video is a minute long. These stories are gonna move.
Matthew Santoro's really fell off.
Here, I'm gonna skip ahead so we can get to the Hassan bit, because this is where things get spicy. And the thing that I want to talk about.
Do you avoid
All the things that JXC criticizes here, Hassan has standed by and continues to do, by the way.
taking the piss? Well, I think that so long as you're clearly trying, it's fine. You don't have to knock it out of the park every time, so long as there's clearly a respect and understanding there that you are working
not
with
unreasonable
someone else's
whatsoever.
content, I think you're good. Hassan Piker is one of the most successful streamers on
That take is not unreasonable at all whatsoever. Not against reaction content across the board. Just try. Try to turn that original content you're reacting to into something new in your new video. I've actually heard the argument that even then, you're still doing content theft because then people would just watch your video instead because it has the original content and then also additional content in the form of your commentary. But I don't really agree with that because there's tons of videos that are like favorites of mine that I've watched several reactions of, and then I also go back and watch the original because sometimes you want to watch the original without someone talking over it. So like, or pausing it. So I don't really agree with that argument as much. I think as long as you make it into something new and you actually put the effort in, just as JXC just said, it's all right. Hassan does not do this. I almost said JXC. XQC does not do this.
on all of Twitch. His streams are on the long side, generally hitting the 8-hour mark. He's wildly successful, generating a huge amount of traffic and revenue. And when I found out that he'd reacted to the video where I just roast a weird house, I got pretty excited. I wasn't really familiar with any of Hassan's work, but I have really been enjoying a lot of this modern wave of reaction content. I knew that there are still some jinxes around, but I also knew that Hassan is an accomplished creator who almost certainly knows better than to just— oh, he left. Okay, so it actually turns out that Hassan will just fairly regularly get up and leave while other people's
just
videos
goes.
are playing. This isn't what I'm here to prove in this video, this is just a fact. This is something he does.
You could make a compilation of me sitting around, not even on camera, with a fucking video playing in the background. You could, when you're live for 13 hours a fucking day, of course there's gonna be—
Hey guys, do you know what I do when it's time for me to get up and use the bathroom? Alright guys, I'll be right back. I gotta use the bathroom. That's what I do. He's just full of shit here. He's just making excuses, and they're shit excuses. As a streamer, I assure you, he just has to hit one button. And he won't just, like, hit the pause button on the video and hit the BRB button. Or just commission a BRB screen. Or do what I do and just use the starting soon screen. Who fucking cares? Indicate to your audience that you're stepping away for a moment instead of playing someone else's content while you're away and then uploading that shit on YouTube.
Of course there's gonna be fucking dead space in between.
But it's not the leaving in and of itself that is the issue. The same issue would be present if he was just sat there not saying anything like Jinx was. The getting up and leaving for extended periods of time just goes to show that he doesn't give a shit about even pretending that he's contributing anything here. But even when he's in the room, he's no stranger to just streaming other people's content with his own face in the corner. Now
I will literally I will talk with my mouth full in order to get commentary in when I have to eat on stream. I do everything in my power not to ever have to eat on stream, but sometimes, like, you ever get, like, so hungry you get nauseous and it just hits you out of fucking nowhere? Really hard to stream with that feeling, so sometimes I gotta grab a snack. But if I'm covering or reacting to a video, then I just, you know, space out my bites like a human and talk between the bites. Or if I'm, like, really hungry and I'm just trying to gobble it down real fast in a rush, then I'll just occasionally talk with my mouth full, but not too full that it's gross. It sucks I have to wait every 15 minutes to see my actually favorite content when Hassan's chair finally goes live.
content creator he does this to could be entirely okay with it, but I know from personal experience that he definitely doesn't bother to check. Now, this certainly isn't the only thing he does. Hell, it's not even the only kind of reaction content that he does, but it is something that he does pretty often, so let's talk about it. It's also very much not just him who does this. This particular style of content, other people's, is a growing trend with plenty of popular creators taking part in it. That's why I think this is so important to talk about. There are currently huge areas of the internet where precedent is being established and reinforced that it's apparently just absolutely fine to post other people's content so long as your face or chair is in the corner as you do it. Now,
This is where I think I'm going to cut it off. Highly recommend you go check out JXC's original video. It'll, of course, be linked down below in the description, as you should do with any video you react to on stream. So please go check it out and drop some support. Anyway, Hassan's audience, in response to this very well put together and very valid list of critiques that goes on for much longer than I even showed you guys, I only showed you a couple minutes, well, basically the response was to brigade JXC with hate. They didn't really take any of it at face value, or not even face value, sorry. Didn't take any of it to heart. They didn't take it seriously. They were very bad faith about it. And the defenses for Hassan's behavior were some of the lowest IQ responses you could ever expect to see from a community consisting of people that are supposed to be on the left. Granted, there are a lot of tankies in Hassan's audience. It's a big part of why, like, Vosh and Keffels and stuff are, like, banned from Hassan's community. But, yeah, it's pretty putrid how these people respond to it. Just ignore it and keep doing this stuff. And all they're doing is giving ammo to the people who are super schizo hating of all forms of reaction content, regardless of how transformative. You're just giving them ammo. Do you think once the internet realizes how big of an issue this has become, the solution that people decide on isn't going to be all-encompassing? Because trust me, it will be all-encompassing. And I really don't want actual transformative reaction content to get caught up in the wave of whatever the solution ends up being, bans, a legal change, whatever it may be, all because these leeches are allowed to continue to just freeload off of other people's content, and no one holds them to account. They aren't just given an insane amount of social backlash for doing this type of behavior, and they have an audience that rewards them for it. Anyway, that's really all I have to say about it. What'd you guys think about that segment? I feel like it came out really good. Mm-mm. 500 people here already. Welcome. I hope you're enjoying your stay so far. Consider dropping a like on the stream. A little thumbs up really goes a long way. It forces YouTube to push my content and the algorithm more, so it's totally free and takes half a second, so why not just, consider hitting that like button. I really do appreciate it, to all of you who do that. And of course, there's always those of you who go the extra mile to drop some financial support on the stream, which I really appreciate, such as JBZO2, who just gifted a tier 1 sub to Shaloon, who said, just got done cleaning the pool. The dirt on the lane line made 4 feet look cloudy. Had to put 2 chlorine tablets in the water, and it turned crystal blue in 4 minutes. Yeah, the lane lines get, like, buildup of this weird white scum. But you said dirt? Like, there was dirt on it? I've never seen dirt on the lane lines, but they usually get this, like, white chlorine. I always assumed it was, like, crystallized chlorine scum. That was pretty common. You'd always, like, see some powder come off on your hands if you touch the lane lines. Depends on how old they were. But yeah, thank you for the $5. I really appreciate it, JBZ. For those that don't know, JBZ02 in my chat is our resident swim team coach that watches my streams, which is pretty cool considering I was on the swim team in high school. So I've gone from being on the swim team as a teenager to a swim coach being a fan of me. Pretty crazy. I'd be sweating. It is so goddamn hot. All right. Let's get into the next topic then. Remember, any support you guys send my way is very much appreciated. Do you think you could raid me tonight? Just wondering? Sure, Pillow. Just make sure that when I'm wrapping up stream, you start spamming me. Zan, I'm live. Here's my link. I'm doing 3, maybe 4 segments today. Not a crazy long stream I plan to do today, but it'll be a good one. We just started it after all. So yeah, just make sure to let me know you're live and to host you so I don't forget, okay? Because I've got a bad memory. Alrighty, so let me get this. You all know what to do when I say action, right? 3, 2, 1, action. So everybody, there's been some big news in the scientific community these last 4 or so days. In the realm of superconductivity. Superconductors. Now, a lot of you guys probably don't know, well, what these are past maybe like floaty metal magnets, floaty cold metal magnet that you might have seen in like a Nile Red video or whatever. But because of this recent story, I've actually gotten really into learning more about them than just the kind of stuff you'll see in viral videos. And it is actually like not just a fun little like magic trick you can do with liquid nitrogen and a magnet. It's actually really fucking crazy how important the physical phenomena of a superconductor, like what that can do theoretically. It's actually really crazy how like important that theoretical technology could be. Now, to give you an idea what this is, it's basically certain types of metals, at least so far, under certain circumstances, such as being very cold or like very cold, like liquid nitrogen freezing them to a very low temperature cold, or under extreme pressure or both, we can basically create pieces of metal that float. Allow me to demonstrate it for you. Let's look at a video of a let's see if there's like a Nile Red video. Yeah, here we go. Making superconductors. I'm just gonna show you the video, like the footage of the superconductor working. And this will give you an idea of like what this is that I'm talking about here.
It dropped in a pellet, and I waited for it to cool down.
Getting that nice
I then
and
got
cold,
a small
that liquid
magnet
nitrogen.
and I carefully dropped it on top, and it actually worked. It was floating, just like how I saw in the video, and I was honestly really surprised that I was able to do it on my first real attempt. Also, this whole time, I was kind of still a bit worried about the purity of my yttrium and copper nitrate.
So, I think you can imagine that literally having floating, locked in place metal parts, that opens up like 1 trillion billion potential new technologies. The examples are very numerous. We already use superconductors in some technology today, but the fact we have to cool the metal down to freezing temperatures or put it under an insane amount of pressure makes it so impractical for any form of everyday use, such as a hoverboard. I think hoverboards are what come to mind for most people right now, right? Like full on, it's happening. Back to the Future. Hoverboards can't work on water. They've got no power. It's gonna fucking happen, dude. We're actually doing it. Back to the Future was not that far off. So, yeah, it also actually wouldn't lose charge, believe it or not, because that part of the superconductor technology that is said to be possible if we can achieve a room temperature ambient pressure superconductor is quite amazing. Allow me to explain. The only property that superconductors don't just have the only property of floating like this. Superconductors also basically allow for nearly no energy loss when electricity, is transported through it. I'm not going to pretend like I understand every little detail about it, but there is some good content out there that has already explained this in the past. This video that I'm about to show you is from SciShow, and it is 2 years old. Basically, it makes it so there's no friction when electricity goes through the superconductor, which means a lot less energy is lost. If we were to use superconductors for our power lines, we wouldn't have to run them at such a high voltage, for example, which costs us a lot of money. There's a lot of details and a lot of information that goes into this. I'm not going to pretend I'm an expert after my cursory, few days of research, but let's get into this SciShow video that breaks down the first room temperature superconductors, still no hoverboards. This is from 2 years ago, before the recent discoveries that have happened the last couple days that I'm talking about now. And there's one thing that I'm going to be talking about at the end of this segment that is the reason I'm even talking about this. There's some news that came out about this today that is the only reason I'm even talking about this recent news. And that is, apparently, the LK99, I think it's called, it has been reproduced twice, supposedly, outside of South Korea. It has supposedly been reproduced the same way as that paper claimed, and peer-reviewed now. Like reproduced. That is the news that came out literally a couple hours before I started this stream. So we're going to look into that a little bit more and see how legit this shit is. But if this is real, I don't think you guys understand. Not peer-reviewed. Yeah, not peer-reviewed, but peer-tested, I should say. If this shit is legit, the nickname that scientists give this potential discovery, and have been for literal years, is the Holy Grail of physics. This would literally be the jump in technology that would get us to we would be the ones flying in UFOs at this point. We would be, this is seriously legit, okay? Let's take a look. Let's take a look at the, this video is multiple years old, by the way. This is not caught up to the news that we're going to be talking about today. This is a old video speculating on the technology that will be possible if we are able to discover the thing that has apparently been discovered.
A new study published in the journal Nature has announced the discovery of the first room temperature superconductor. I know. This is big news. Every other superconductor we know of requires sub-zero temperatures. If we had superconductors that worked just all the time, not only would electricity be super cheap, we could all be zipping around on levitating trains, even have legit hoverboards. Of course, as you probably expect, there's one big caveat to this new material, which is why it's not quite ready.
Big ups to Hank Green and his cancer treatment not being bad. And being very successful. He seems to be doing extremely well. I've been kept up very much so with his cancer treatment, and he's in. I don't think he's in remission officially yet, but he's he's. Oh, it's undetectable, is it? Okay. Last I heard, he was just no longer in treatment. He's undergoing radiation now. Okay, so he doesn't have to do chemo anymore, but he's still doing radiation. Oh yeah, it's undetectable because they just have to. They're just radiating the area where his tumor was. They literally can't find his tumor anymore, and so they're literally just radiating the spot where it was. They put a mark on his chest for it. I forgot, yeah. It's on his chest, right? Pretty sure it's on his chest. Yeah, he was just too cool for cancer. That Hodgkin's lymphoma got its ass kicked.
For everyday use. But I'll get there. A superconductor is a substance that conducts electricity with no resistance. That means an electric current can flow through it without losing energy along the way. And given how much electricity we all use, you're using some right this very second just to watch this video, well, you can imagine how useful it would be to have super energy efficient electricity. Plus, superconductors do much more because they allow us to make very powerful magnetic fields. So think better particle accelerators, smaller and less expensive MRI machines, super efficient magnetically levitated trains. But the superconductors we know and love all have one catch. They only work at extremely low temperatures. The first, discovered in 1911, only superconducted when it was near absolute zero, or negative 273.15 degrees Celsius. And while researchers have now found substances that can handle things a bit warmer than that, no superconductor has ever worked reliably above freezing until now. The details of this study sound like something straight out of an Iron Man movie. They squeezed together powdered carbon and sulfur at extremely high pressures, exposed them to hydrogen gas, and then shot the whole thing with a laser. And after a series of adjustments to the laser and pressure conditions, they witnessed the formation of a transparent crystal substance that conducts electricity with zero resistance. A superconductor. Amazingly, this superconductor works at temperatures as high as 287 Kelvin, or about 15 degrees Celsius. Now that might not be quite as warm as some of us like our rooms, but it's warm enough to count as room temperature, and it's a lot better than freezing. Now, before we get too excited about a whole new technological...
Now, this is the point in the video where he's gonna get into, like, all the caveats of this discovery not being the big, like, holy grail in science, because you have to put an insane amount of pressure on the material in order for it to superconduct. Here's the thing, though. Recently, as in like 4 days ago, some scientists out of South Korea published a paper that is not peer-reviewed, or at least, and up until supposedly today, the results had not been repeated by anybody else. But they were supposedly able to create a superconductive material, quite easily, might I add, that under ambient pressure, that's like sitting on your table pressure, like our current pressure we're in now, and under ambient temperature, could superconduct. Here's the thing, though. A lot of people, for the last few days after this news came out, have been very skeptical. Others have been very, very hyped. In fact, the funny thing is, the stock bros have been investing like a shit ton of money, like the amount of money in the last few days that has been invested in American Superconductors, a company that has nothing to do with this apparent discovery. Like, it's insane how much money is getting invested now. So even if this ends up being like a hoax or something somehow, regardless, this entire area of science is about to have a lot of attention and research put into it, even if this doesn't end up being that big breakthrough, right? Besides that, though, things look so far quite legit. So this is from... Actually, let's do... So this is the one from 8 hours ago. That one's too old. All right. Here it is. Tom's Hardware has done quite a few articles, like very much keeping track of what's going on with this superconductor stuff. So let's look at this article. Scramble to validate superconductor breakthrough confirms zero resistance, that's like electrical resistance, with a catch. Zero resistance is replicated, but room temperature operation is not. The scientific community is still scrambling to confirm the recent revolutionary claim of a room temperature ambient pressure superconductor being found, but with enough brainpower looking into the subject of the LK99 material, it's bound to be a matter of time before the superconductivity claims are fully confirmed or denied. Once again, researchers in China seem to be at the forefront. Today, scientists with the physics department of Southeast University, a top university in Nanking, China, have reported measuring zero electrical resistance, a key requirement for superconductivity, in a sample of LK99 they produced from scratch. However, that comes with the caveat that they could only achieve the properties at negative 163 degrees Celsius, not at the room temperature touted by the original paper. As with other efforts from other teams, two of which claim to have confirmed certain other aspects of the claimed superconducting breakthrough, the new results from the Southeast University team are preliminary. The team is still studying different methods of fabricating the material, with plans to provide more results in the future. Other research teams are also still working to replicate the initial claims. So this is just the fact that this Chinese team has tried and only got the superconductor they made with that process to work under cold temperatures doesn't mean they did it right. So they're replicating it still. They said like, hey, this is not like over. We're still working on that. After having successfully synthesized LK99, which they say was purer than the samples the original Korean team achieved, the Chinese research team helmed by Dr. Sun Yue, I assume is how it'd be pronounced, Y-U-A, I don't know, or Y-U-E, I don't know, looked into the material's conductive properties, finding some very interesting electronic properties of this material. As a reminder, LK99 is a compound of lanarkite, not going to try to say its chemical compound name, and copper phosphide, baked within a 4-day multi-step small batch solid-state synthesis process that was nevertheless also achieved over a Russian kitchen counter. In this case, the very interesting electronic properties refer to the material's ability to conduct electricity without any resistance, leading to incredible efficiency savings that could get PC enthusiasts something like 30 gigahertz processor. Getting something like that 30 gigahertz in processor Intel promised but never delivered. Could you imagine, bro, how well Minecraft would run? Good old-fashioned Java fucking Minecraft would run on a superconductor CPU. I'm cumin at the thought of it, Apillo. The above video shows the researcher explaining the findings. Using a 4-point probe method, the scientists measured their synthesized LK99 at zero resistance at an ambient temperature of 110 Kelvin, and at a normal air pressure. They also verified that LK99 transitioned in and out of its zero-resistance state depending on whether it was subject to a strong electric field, another hallmark of superconductivity. Here's a summation of the team's findings, taken from the Wikipedia Live Tracker page. Claimed to have synthesized LK99 to have measured superconductivity up to a temperature of 110 Kelvin, claimed to have observed an abrupt drop in resistance between... So... To summarize this in words that are understandable, what I'm picking up here is they've yet to replicate it perfectly, like the South Korean team that's claimed to have developed this has claimed. However, even the scientists who have experience with superconductors are noting that in their attempts so far to mimic what they did, they're like, this material has some interesting properties. The confirmed absence of electrical resistance now comes together with yesterday's news that confirmed at least one half of the superconducting equation was solved. LK99 showcased the Meissner effect, originally Meissner-Oschenfield effect, or Oschenfield? I forget. Which results in the levitation of materials as they interact with the Meissner effect-induced magnetic field. And now it seems the other half of the equation, resistanceless electrical conduction, was verified in LK99. But questions remain even here. It seems that LK99 only shows superconductivity at 110 Kelvin, which disputes the room temperature bit originally claimed, although all tech enthusiasts that have dabbled in liquid nitrogen cooling know that 110 Kelvin is handleable if not practical. Goddamn PC enthusiasts. It's also unclear why LK99 would show both diamagnetism, responsible for levitation, and superconductivity, but within different temperature bands. Expectations would paint it more as a buy one, get two promotion. Yet 1 + 1 generally being equal to 2, we seem to have independent confirmation of several facets of a superconducting compound being successfully synthesized. But while this is incredibly promising news, there are still caveats. For one, it's strange that 2 teams verified different halves of the superconducting requirements, but no team has successfully verified both, as of the time of writing. That's really weird. Wait, 2 different teams have followed these steps, and one has gotten a superconducting material that is capable of operating at room temperature but only under pressure, and one team got a result that can operate only under extremely cold temperatures but at ambient pressure. Okay, that's a pretty good sign, I'd say, that they're like literally dealing with a Goldilocks situation depending on how they made it and how well they followed the instructions, I guess. You know, it could also be a big factor. You have to remember altitude, right? Like when you bake a cake, you have to account for the altitude. Could that also be a factor here? Like that the South Korean lab where they made it and the other labs where they're making it, some could be in the mountains, some could be by the sea. Who knows? It could. I mean, they probably put it under vacuum though, right? So that wouldn't have a big effect because it doesn't matter where you are because they put this shit under vacuum just to make it. All of these are big leaps, and it's now just about seeing who can achieve room temp first, doing peer review. Not peer review, peer replication, yeah. In the video, Professor Yui himself says that while promising, the team's results aren't proof that LK99 is the superconductor breakthrough we've been waiting for. For that to happen, you'd have to wait for a credible institution to confirm both the Meissner effect and the zero electrical resistance halves of the equation at the same time. And even then, it won't be enough. Their announcement, cue all the scientific prizes, will have to be followed up by other institutions up to a point where there's enough overlap in the results that says this is more than fabricated data or a mere fluke. And that's not saying anything of all the sweet spots this material needs to hit to be the hero we want it to be. It has to be abundant enough and easy enough to access that it's relatively cheap to mine. Then it has to be relatively cheap to process and synthesize at a mass scale. And then it still has to be turned into actually usable bits of electronics that are compatible enough with our current fabrication methods. Talk about high standards. That's years of work right there. For now, LK99 seems to have some limitations. It's currently hard to synthesize at high purities because it only happens in a very specific areas of the compound, meaning yield is likely to be poor. And in fact, perhaps this purity problem acknowledged in the original paper is the root of most of these issues. Scientists have had a difficult time creating enough quantities of the material that display any of the superconducting or diamagnetic features. So they're basically creating small amounts of it, testing it, and being like, fuck, it's going to take forever to make enough, because in the video that I saw, it's like a little pebble. Like, they need a pebble, at least, of this material, but it's really hard, and it needs to be pure. Like, they can make a big chunk of this stuff, but they need to be able to get, like, small amounts of it that are perfectly pure out, and then condense that, and they need to make, like, at least, like a hockey puck of that shit. For now, another limitation is that the material could be one-dimensional, meaning that it only presents superconductivity on a section of it, which could be why the levitation in the original video wasn't even. This still means a load of possible applications while unlocking new ones. It's never a pure loss. For now, the jury is still out on the original Korean team's claims of room temperature superconductivity, and the Southeast University researchers will continue to study the new material and fabrication methods as they search to find the correct mixture to replicate the room temperature superconductor. For now, some claims have been preliminarily confirmed, while others remain out of reach. Several other teams are also racing to validate the paper, so we're sure to learn more over the coming days. This is literally a watch this news by the hour type situation. The amount of people across the world that are actively putting their heart and soul into replicating this process. One thing you have to remember is the people who, assuming this is actually legit, like the LK99 is the thing, it is the holy grail of physics. Assuming that's the case, they didn't know they were making that when they made it. They were trying to make it, but they didn't know they were actually going to succeed. So how well, down to the detail that they wrote down and tracked their process, is going to determine how quickly this is replicated if it's legit. Finally, some news that, we don't have to doomer about. This technology very well would save the planet from climate change. If it becomes real, it very well would be the thing that saves humanity from extinction at the hand of climate change. This would be the thing that we would be able to historically attribute to saving our species. Yeah, this technology is what we need to be real in order for the futuristic, sci-fi shit that you think of as happening in the future to exist and be possible. If this ambient pressure, room temperature, or even and high temperature superconductor technology is possible, and it is discovered, that is how we get there. It turns big things slippery at an atomic level. Good way of putting it. It's like the move from CRT to LED. That's yeah, I guess a decent comparison. I'd be wary about that. A lot of OD Hwangwook-sook's incidental successes were like staged. What? I don't know what you're talking about in regards to that or how that's related to this. Climate change would almost certainly not drive humanity to extinction. It would kill a lot of humans. The amount of death climate change will cause is like uncountable and unestimable. Like it's insane. Yeah, I'm interested to see. You bet the private sector in particular is going to be investigating this as well. There are companies, like massive corporations, who have, think Boeing, fucking Raytheon and shit. You think they aren't going to be researching this with their own internal engineers and scientists to try to find a way to create an actual fucking UFO? Like a UFO fighter plane or something? You think the U.S. military isn't very closely watching these developments and United States scientists aren't actively trying to replicate this for our U.S. defense? There is a lot of eyes looking at this technology now, and I would keep up with this. I plan to update you guys on whether or not this ends up being a fluke or whether or not we end up legit. You know, like, if humanity has been changed forever, trust me, I will be covering it, and you will be made aware. But yeah, I recommend keeping an eye on this, because I am genuinely hyped to find out what happens next. We're literally just waiting for confirmation as to whether or not humanity and our path forward as a species will have been changed forever. So, pretty big deal. What do you guys think of that segment? I feel like for all the hardcore science stuff in there, that's pretty, I'm not the most educated on that stuff. I feel like I did a pretty good job of talking about it. What do you guys think? Go to the segment, Hope Pilled? Hell yeah. Oh, South Korea's done a lot of fakery in tech in the past. That's what has me wary. Yeah, one thing, I forgot to mention this during the segment. I'll also mention this. Apparently, some of the people involved on the team that produced this material, supposedly, were against the publishing of the paper. The paper was published against the consent of several people who worked on the material, which tells me might be legit, and several scientists wanted to keep this under wraps and not publish how it's made to the world, because they wanted to monetize and keep it a secret how this is made. That lends some credence to this as well, that there were literally people on the team who made this who said, no, don't tell the world how to do this. Don't publish these results. That adds a little bit of credibility to the story, honestly. Because that's exactly what would happen. There would be scientists on the team who would make this discovery who would be totally against this discovery being shared with the world in a way that could be replicated. It's very common. Capitalism ruins innovation. Larry Banks 78, thank you for the tier 2 sub. I really appreciate that. Thank you for the $10. Very kind of you. I appreciate all of your support, whether it be a like, a comment, a subscription, a gifted sub, like a donation, whatever it may be. I really do appreciate it. All of your support, it goes a long way, and it means a lot to me. Keeps the show on the air. Keeps me from living in a box in the side of the road. I don't want to live in a box on the side of the road, and you guys keep that from happening when you send me all those dollar dues. Sadly, unless this harms YouTube's bottom line or media corporations threaten YouTube, then this issue won't be solved by because XQC brings in the views and money. Well, it's Twitch and YouTube, but yeah. Zero Signal, you're very much not caught up on what we're talking about. We're not talking about suppression. You're very much assuming and filling in blanks that are. You'll just randomly get a Twitch viewer or a YouTube viewer that'll join like halfway through a sentence and then like fill in what they thought you were saying. I don't know. Okay, cool. Yeah, we're moving on from this topic anyway. You'll be able to see the video when it goes up on YouTube. If something has enough military application, Republicans stop being as anti-science for a bit. Yeah, it's true. You're not wrong there. You have a point there. I cannot argue with you. Okay. You all know what to do when I say action, right? Three, two, one, action. Well, guys, I love how, like, every other week, every month now, at least, for, like, all this year, we get a new Trump indictment. Trump just gets, like, submerged deeper and deeper into very, very hot water. And it's gotten to the point where as slippery as he has been known to be, I don't know if he can slip out from this much weight being on top of him all at once. There are just so many investigations. He is under investigation for so many different things at once. And these are not just, you know, the much lower level issues for rich people to deal with that he was fighting against back in 2016 and before that. We're talking federal charges here. These are charges akin to treason, okay? He is in deep fucking shit. I will genuinely be surprised if he manages to get out of this entirely scot-free, regardless of his reputation for it. This is from the New York Times just yesterday. Trump indictment. January 6th riot was quote-unquote fueled by lies from Trump, special counsel says. Former President Donald J. Trump was charged with 4 counts in connection with his efforts to subvert the will of voters in 2020. Despite having lost, the defendant was determined to remain in power, prosecutors wrote. He's fucked. These are the prosecutors. He's so fucked. So, there's basically like a live list of stories being constantly streamed in on this page of updates on what's happening. So we'll just read through all the shit that's relevant for today. The special counsel accused Trump of taking part in 3 conspiracies. Former President Donald J. Trump was indicted on Tuesday in connection with his widespread efforts to overturn the 2020 election, following a sprawling federal investigation into his attempts to cling to power after losing the presidency. The indictment filed by the special counsel Jack Smith in federal district court in Washington accuses Mr. Trump of 3 conspiracies: one to defraud the United States, a second to obstruct an official government proceeding, the certification of the Electoral College vote, and a third to deprive people of a civil right, the right to have their votes counted. Mr. Trump was also charged with a 4th count of obstructing or attempting to obstruct an official proceeding. 4 takeaways from the indictment. Jack Smith made only his 2nd televised appearance as I believe this is, he's special counsel to former President Trump. Jack Smith made only his 2nd televised appearance as counsel on Tuesday to explain his decision to charge against Trump, against former President Trump, with leading a conspiracy to overturn the 2020 election. He took no questions and urged viewers to read the 45-page indictment in its entirety. Ain't nobody got time for that. We're gonna watch a summary of it, okay? Or we're gonna read a summary of it. Oh, here's a good one. The 5 ways Trump and his 6 co-conspirators tried to carry out an election scheme. There's just no ambiguity about this stuff. Like, these are big mainstream media outlets just straight up saying, no, he's just completely guilty. He just did it. Donald J. Trump did not act alone. The indictment unveiled on Tuesday accused Mr. Trump of enlisting 6 co-conspirators in his criminal efforts to overturn the legitimate results of the 2020 presidential election and retain power. They're constant with how they say that, by the way, and to overturn the legitimate results of the 2020 presidential election and retain power. They always say that because that is what he was trying to do, and they're very much not allowing Trump or any people who are defending him to weasel out of that fact. Conversations between Trump and Pence provided key evidence for prosecutors. Some of the most specific and damning pieces of information laid out in the indictment charging former President Donald J. Trump with conspiracy came from conversations between Mr. Trump and his Vice President Mike Pence. Mr. Pence, who met with federal prosecutors months ago, appears to have been among the witnesses who provided recollections of his discussions with Mr. Trump. Prosecutors also obtained contemporaneous notes that Mr. Pence took. So Trump, like, Pence has just totally turned on Trump. Mind you, this is separate from the documents thing. Trump holding on to documents after leaving office, this is separate from that. Those are completely different federal charges where he's being charged for holding on to those documents and showing them to other people and mistreating them in his, like, those are another whole cluster of federal charges that are in and of themselves super fucking serious. This is all on top of that. He is also being charged with several indictments for trying to attempt to overturn the presidential election and retain power. This is all a bunch of different things piling on top of him. All the karma's coming back around, for lack of a better term. One challenge in the legal case against Trump, scheduling. Ah, yes, Trump and his team are going to try to just basically drag this out as long as possible. As former President Donald J. Trump campaigns for the White House while multiple criminal prosecutions against him play out, at least one thing is clear. Under the laws of physics, he cannot be in two places at once. Generally, criminal defendants must be present in the courtroom during their trials. Not only will that force Mr. Trump to step away from the campaign trail, possibly for weeks at a time, but the judges overseeing his trials must also jostle for position in sequencing dates. The collision course is raising extraordinary and unprecedented questions about the logistical, legal, and political challenges of various trials unfolding against the backdrop of a presidential campaign. Here are some key parts of the indictment. Jack Smith, the special counsel, charged former President Donald J. Trump with 4 criminal counts involving 3 conspiracies related to Mr. Trump's attempts to overturn the victory of Joseph R. Biden Jr. in the 2020 election. Notice, by the way, this stuff isn't being covered in the way most stories are covered. You know how, like, a big story happens, usually, and it's, like, a bunch of different outlets just put out a bunch, like, their own articles. Maybe they put out 3 or 4 to keep updated with the story, but then it just kind of moves on to obscurity with maybe a few retroactive, like, you know, hindsight-based articles that get made a few years later, right? This is being covered like elections are, where instead of it being like New York Times or Washington Post just make a couple of articles about it, no. When you click on the Washington Post's page about this story, you are sent to a live updated feed that is just feeding you constantly updated stories covering different aspects and different updates from this by the, like, half hour by, in this case, New York Times or Washington Post or whatever it might be. This is being done as they do the same way they do election coverage, where the entire thing is just like a live updated thing. It's really, really serious. Like, this is not just a like another one of these nothing burgers where Trump gets like not indicted, impeached, and it never really ends up being a thing, right? This is legit, guys. He is in deep fucking shit here. What if Trump is elected with criminal charges still looming? If former President Donald J. Trump wins the presidency, even as criminal charges against him still loom, a series of extraordinary complications would ensue. The indictment on Tuesday on federal charges stemming from his attempts to remain in power after his 2020 election loss added to the mounting legal peril Mr. Trump, the frontrunner for the Republican Party, faces as he campaigns for a second term in the White House. More than 1,000 people have been charged in connection with the January 6th attacks. By the way, like, the Department of Justice is still investigating the Jan 6th attacks. Like, the people who are present there, and there is, like, evidence of them breaking the law and trespassing, are still being investigated and charged. There are new people getting knocks out their doors after a video comes up of them throwing a brick through the window that the DOJ discovers, like, all the time. There are literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people who have gotten already, and thousands more who have yet to get got. A lot of people on no-fly lists as well. Trump has spent 2 years labeling the Capitol attack as a love fest. Despite ample video footage showing violence, hundreds of hours of testimony given to a House Select Committee, and his own lack of public action that day, former President Donald J. Trump has spent 2 years recasting the history of one of the worst days at the U.S. Capitol as a love fest in which he did nothing wrong. In his initial in his initial months out of office, Mr. Trump was rarely quoted in the mainstream media, and he had been kicked off Twitter and Facebook after the violence of January 6, 2021, giving him no outlet for making public statements about what took place that day as a mob of his supporters stormed the building and tried to disrupt the certification of President Biden's victory. Trump has a long history of casting the Justice Department as a villain. With former President so of course Donald J. Trump is like very scared. So his only recourse at this time is to rile up his supporter base to hate the Department of Justice. With former President Donald J. Trump facing his third indictment this year, this time for his attempts to overturn the 2020 election, his campaign unleashed a fresh round of accusations on Tuesday, claiming the Justice Department was persecuting him because of political motivations. The go-to, they're going after me because of political reasons excuse that isn't an actual argument, and it's just they're bad because they disagree with me, but with extra steps. Almost as soon as the news of the indictment broke, his campaign called the latest charges of the product of a weaponized Department of Justice. DeSantis suggests Trump can't get a fair trial in the D.C. swamp. Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida raced to respond. Okay, so this is one of DeSantis's big issues, by the way. The dude literally has to ride this, straddle this line between pleasing Trump fans by not being too hard on Trump, but also not being as insane as Trump so that he can appeal to, somewhat moderate Republicans. And he fails at both because Donald Trump just goes hard as fuck against him, and Ron DeSantis just says, I got a lot of respect for Trump, but I just don't think he's fit to run the country. That's not a good DeSantis impression, but, He has to go 30% against Trump, and Trump goes 110% against him, because Trump just doesn't give a fuck. Jack Smith has undertaken 2 historic investigations with remarkable speed. Last fall, a largely unknown former prosecutor with a beard and a brisk gait flew unnoticed to Washington from The Hague after being summoned to a secret meeting by Attorney General Merrick B. Garland. Jack Smith's job interview would remain unknown to all but a handful of department officials until hours before he was appointed special counsel to oversee 2 investigations into former President Donald J. Trump in mid-November. So this guy's one of the most important people in the entire country right now, Jack Smith. What a standard name, Jack Smith. Not very memorable as far as names go, sadly. Or maybe very memorable. The special counsel says Trump targeted a bedrock function of the U.S. government. By the way, these are all just articles from the New York Times alone that I'm reading, just back to back to back, being live updated. We're not even, we're still on yesterday. These are all just from today and yesterday, live updates coming from just New York Times alone. This is from their website with live update articles from different people all doing moment by moment live updates on the things coming out about this, because this is all happening live as we speak. I don't know, guys. I don't know. This does not look good for Trump. None of it does. None of these do. He was already in deep shit before, and now these additional charges in regards to Jan 6, it looks fairly Jover, and could reality possibly be based enough that such a poetic ending would come to such a bad person? Could reality be that perfect? Not perfect, but that forgiving. That something that good could happen. I feel like we've gotten so used to good things happening to bad people and vice versa that I think we've kind of grown inoculated to the idea that a good thing could happen. Trump is too popular to win the primary, or to lose the primary, but too unpopular to win the general. That's what I think as well, Apillo. This could legit be the death of the GOP. I don't think it'll be the death of the GOP. It could very well be what gives DeSantis what he needs in order to actually become the Republican nominee, but he's just so low energy. DeSantis can't win the general. DeSantis just cannot win the general. He's not capable of it. He's not a good enough candidate to actually win. I wouldn't count him out of the general. We have to acknowledge the threat is real. Oh, it is real, and we're gonna take it very seriously. But, like, internally, I wouldn't doom her, and I wouldn't get too stressed about it. Like, I wouldn't let it keep you up at night, because I really do feel as though the chances are very high that it's a pretty solid Dem win in 2024. Shouldn't mean we just, you know, not try or anything like that. We very much should still try and really put our all in. But, like, I wouldn't just tear yourself up over the potential of Trump winning and keep yourself from living a healthy life. Yeah, don't do a 2016. Do not do a 2016, though. Don't underestimate Trump. But we do know what he's capable of now. We're very aware. I think the whole country has been made aware, and I think that's going to play a large... And you have to remember, so many fucking Zoomers, the most progressive generation ever, like by a lot, have reached voting age and will continue to reach voting age come 2024. You gotta consider, like, not only is there not new Trump supporters being made and only Trump supporters, like, not voting for Trump, like originally Trump supporters are leaving him, he's not gaining new supporters. So it's like, you have to consider all of these factors, and I think his chances are worse than in 2020. Both Trump and DeSantis. I think the Republicans across the board have a worse chance than they ever have this year, or this election season. That is my honest-to-God opinion. How do you guys like that segment? I know it was shorter, but I feel like it came out pretty good. Good segment? Hell yeah. Alrighty. So, that's all the segments I had prepared for today. Which means I could end stream after only an hour and 43 minutes of stream. Or we could find something else to do before I wrap up. It's just so hot. I genuinely don't really feel like sitting back and playing a game, like, because I literally can't relax because it's just so hot. Like, I have to peel my shirt off my back every once in a while. No, the onesie will kill me in this heat. Like, I'll actually have to go to the emergency room, unfortunately. It's a hotter day than yesterday. Yeah. Whew. I don't know, it's just really hot. Maybe I will wrap up stream. Oh yeah, Pillow, get your stream live. Get your stream live so I can raid into you. There's new news about Illuminati. I'll look into it in my next stream. To be fair, I did promise my mom I'd get stream done early today so that we could hang out. Heat stroke is a thing? Yeah, like, heat can actually kill you. Yeah, we got good segments done today. Hold on a moment. My mom came and told me that the 90s are back because Donald Trump's trial is going to be like the new O.J. Simpson trial. The 90s are back. I guess she is right about that. I'll be ready soon, like 5 minutes. Okay, let's watch something to stunlock on. I'm scrolling through my YouTube, like, homepage right now. There's nothing that's particularly... Ooh, I know what to show you guys. Let me show you what it's like to scuba dive right off the rocks of the place I went to the other day. Like, I'm pretty certain we went to this very exact cliff face.
We're at Limekiln State Park on San Juan Island.
Yep, that's the lighthouse. There it is. Yep. Yep. This is the spot where me and my mom saw some, I'm pretty sure, dolphins out in the water. Like, literally, that's the lighthouse right there. So yeah, this is the place.
Have you ever wondered what it would look like underwater from the orca's perspective? On September 1st, there was a super pod where members of all 3 pods swam close against the cliffs, so we decided to have a look into the orca's world to see their perspective the next day. We had no idea
the water
there
was
a
way
pod of
clearer
big
when I went
orcas,
there.
Mammal-eating orcas, swimming by the kelp a mere hour before our dive. We kept our eyes wide open, looking for those magnificent creatures sleeping by in ghost mode just beyond the kelp. Good thing they're so smart, otherwise we'd probably seem like slow, injured seals. Did you know there's never been an orca attack on a human in the wild?
These kelp forests are very important to both southern resident orcas and big orcas. They provide habitat for the entire Sailor Sea ecosystem, including the prey both species of orcas depend upon for survival. Our beautiful underwater forests
I literally
are
went
essential
there
to
the other
every
day.
living being
Like
in the
literally
Sailor
this
Sea.
exact
As I look
beach.
around, I can't help but imagine J35 Telequa with her newborn calf J57, or J31 Suchi, and J27 Blackberry,
I love how
or
the
J26
orcas all
Link,
have, like,
all swimming by me on all
planet
sides
names.
in one great fluid pod.
I'm live? Okay, 1 minute.
It feels like a blessing to be
That's
submerged
awesome.
in the same cold waters
We only
that
saw
those
some
southern resident
porpoises.
orcas were swimming
No
in
whales
just
yet.
18 hours earlier. The water feels powerful with their presence. This amazing family is now 74 strong, so let's celebrate. Take a breath. See what land banks kelp forests look like.
This
from
is
the orca's
unironically real life Subnautica. It's Subnautica in real life, guys. It's the kelp biome. Look at that. Would you swim through this? What are we watching? I just got here. You came very late, my friend. Dude, I'm so hot that my leg pits are sweating. Like, you know the bend of your leg behind your knee? That is currently dripping sweat down to the floor. I touched my leg and was like, oh my god, it's so sweaty. Damn, no AC. No, my AC's in the other room, and I like have those doors closed because my mom's here, and so basically like the AC cold air can't actually get in here when I'm live. So I effectively don't have AC. Yeah, but yeah, I am going to. That's not the leg armpit. That's the leg inner elbow. You're right. Wouldn't your crotch be the leg armpit? Yeah, you're right. So yeah, sorry, the leg elbow armpit, elbow pit, whatever you call it. That's the area it's like sweating insanely, as well as my back. Everything is sweating. I need to cool the fuck off. Anyway, you guys have been amazing. I am going to raid into a pillow. Thank you so much, Carl Marky Marks, for the 2 tier 1 gifted subs, by the way. I actually saw that Pillar of Garbage video. I'm going to watch it after stream while I'm playing some games tonight. Let me just get the raid going on a pillow. That's the area. It's like this. Go in there, be good, be nice, say good things, be poggers, and yeah. That's where you guys are all going to go now that I'm wrapping up my stream. Listen, guys, I really do appreciate it. You have all been amazing and wonderful today. But as always, have a good one. Bye-bye. Wait, what? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Fuck, I forgot. No. No, I forgot. I forgot how to embed YouTube streams. Fuck. Hold on. Host. YouTube channel. Come on, come on. No, why won't it let me? What? What do you mean? What? Why? Why won't it let me? No! A pillow, it won't let me. I literally can't. Oh, wait, is it working? Oh, maybe now it's working. Okay, now we're good. All right, we're good. Okay, go. Go to a pillow stream. Do it. Go over there. Be good. Be pog. I love you all. You've been amazing. And as always, have a good one. I'm going to go dry myself off because I'm dripping with sweat. Thank you for watching, and let's hope for summer to end very soon. I hate the heat.